Oh, all right, I don't have to be logged in. I don't know if I need to be. All right, Dee Dee, would you please call the roll?
All right, Mike Kapler.
Here.
Tom Need.
Here.
Joni Manson. Here. Brittany Hopper. Here. Virginia Lewis. Here.
All right, thank you. I don't know whether anyone has signed on. Has anyone signed online?
Doesn't look like anybody's here. Other
Okay,
than us.
for the members of the public, we've opened the hearing. Later, the hearing that's scheduled for tonight is scheduled to begin at 7:45, so we won't start it before then. The other, besides the zoning commission members, which you heard the roll being called, we have Mike Cannon present, who is our director of zoning in Harlem Township. And DG Wolf is our zoning assistant, works in the zoning office. So when you call the zoning office now, you will usually either get Mike or DG to answer the phone, unless they're both busy or out of the office, which does happen occasionally. So we will start our regular meeting with a general review. We'll start by saying that members of the public, if you wish to speak at this time or any time, you need to step up to the podium over there so that that microphone will be able to pick up any comments that you want to make. And that way, then anyone who is participating via Zoom will hear your comments. And also it will be recorded. We are recording the meetings. At this point, we'll provide the opportunity for a short public session. If anyone, members of the public, have a question of a general nature that you would like to ask, now would be the time to do it. Otherwise, you can come back later. We will have another public comment. Actually, there'll be public comment during the hearing, and then once we close the hearing and go back into regular meeting, we'll have another opportunity for public comment. So if you have no specific general questions that you'd like to ask the zoning commission up front here, then we'll just continue to move forward. Okay, we don't have any new applications to receive tonight. Am I correct, DG and Mike?
Correct.
There's no one here. I'm sorry, but we'll ask you guys to, the members of the public that I don't know, we'll ask you to introduce yourselves later.
I'm David.
All right, David, thank you. Can you hear me now? All right, good. We will recess this regular meeting and go into the hearing in about 10 more minutes. Moving forward, Mike, do you have a report for this evening?
And there's really not a lot more than I had last month. We've got about four more permits, 3 of them were accessory buildings. One was a deck, but that's about it. We do have a lot of people still inquiring about lots of. We don't have a lot. There hasn't been anything just recently. I do, excuse me, anticipate maybe at your workshop, you'll get some people showing up to maybe ask questions about some of the lot splits, because a few of them that called had some questions, and I told them about your workshop, so they said they might show up, but it's hit or miss whether they will or not.
All right, that's fine.
And as far as the nuisance properties, it's all the same. I did tell you we did have a fire down there at one of the properties over the weekend or last week. One day I was called in. I went down there and checked it out. So just burned down one of their barns and didn't get down the house, and no one was injured seriously. Somebody did get first and second degree burns trying to put it out, but it was one of the occupants of the residents. But other than that, so at least nobody got hurt.
All right, well, I'm happy no one got hurt too. Insofar as a report from the chair, I really don't have anything additional to add that's not on the agenda. We'll discuss those items later when we get to those. Joni, you have anything?
I just wanted to remind people that Winter in the Park is this Saturday from 5 to 8. Everybody's welcome. And it'll be horse-drawn wagon rides around the lit park. visit with Santa and Mrs. Claus. Chance to have hot cocoa and cookies and roast hot dogs over a fire, stuff like that. Lots of carol singing.
Tom, you have anything to report on strategic planning? I know one thing. To let everybody here know that there is going to be a meeting. This month after all, because
They
last
will,
time they
yes.
had announced that there would not be a meeting this month.
So ignore what I said before. The strategic planning committee will be meeting tomorrow here at 6:30. We're looking at. With all the overlay districts that we have, the only part of the township that really isn't covered by an overlay district is the northwest quadrant. North of Center Village Road, and we're looking at the possibility of covering that with some type of residential overlay. More or less akin to the clustered residential conservation district that we already have in place, but nothing's really been discussed on that yet. The infrastructure committee has met with Doug Riedel from the county engineer's office. There are a couple of meetings with AEP coming up this week. One meeting with Delco next week that I think was postponed, and a meeting with the regional sewer district next week. Busy schedule.
You said AEP is going to have a meeting this week?
2 meetings this week
Two meetings this week.
at their request.
Is that concerning the high powered lines?
And you're not meeting but once this month, or is that changed also?
No, we're meeting the first Tuesday of the month, and that's going to be pretty well. Unless a holiday intervenes.
As of right now, that's the plan then for the future. That,
Right forward, yes.
beginning, you will continue to meet on the first Tuesday of each month.
That's correct.
Okay. Do you have any questions for Tom? Any other commission members, anything to announce? Any questions? Okay. Guess nothing, then let's go on. We have a few more minutes. Let's go on to the minutes. We received them electronically, and I'm aware that Brittany, Joni, Tom, and I have made some input. Virginia, you may have, and I didn't.
No, I have not gotten to them yet.
All right, so far, everybody's inputs have been made and tracked and put on this document,
Okay, on this copy.
copy.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Several of you recommended the same changes at the same time, so.
I got a question.
Yeah.
When we make changes on the document, does that automatically go to you, or do we have to save it and send it to you?
So the way I do it, it should automatically track everybody's changes as it goes, because I send it as a live Word document.
Okay.
So you shouldn't necessarily have to save it and send it to me, because I should be able to look as you're making
Okay.
changes and
Is
see.
that,
That's what I wanted to.
have you verified that it works for everyone? I know it'll work for me
If it,
because of my email address.
if it doesn't.
It did not used to work for
Yeah.
the rest of the people because of their email address.
If it doesn't work for you, then bring your stuff in so I can actually take a look and see what's going wrong with it, and then I can help. So.
Well, it works for me. It
Yeah,
always
so-
did, but I always copy it and save it. So that, and then save that or send that document rather to everyone, because it used to be that otherwise they wouldn't see my changes.
Yeah, so as long.
You would, but no one else would.
Yeah, and I'm, as long as you're logging in with a Microsoft Word account, which everybody should have through the township. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Since when? And we don't.
Well, as long as you've got like a Microsoft account, then we can see who's tracking it. So if you don't have a Microsoft account, I can set one up for you.
Do I need one? Do I need another account? Another password.
Maybe not.
So did
But-
you see that we all responded?
Except for me.
You did see. that.
And yeah, and that. they
Okay,
should all
so
be
it's
reflected.
working then.
Should be
Okay.
all reflected in here.
Even off your
Okay.
township, like
Because
if
it
you're
didn't
logged in
used to,
to
and I just
township.
want to make sure that if you guys
Right.
are,
If she's,
making
if she's
changes.
seeing that we've submitted something, then.
I don't know. I mean, it was a matter of whatever the way that the system was set up because of your emails.
Yeah.
Not being to harlem.com.
Yeah.
There was, the changes. I guess for whatever reason, they weren't coming in, but maybe they've got that fixed. And it's probably happened because BG's there. Thank you.
So I didn't realize that it worked like that. So I downloaded,
And then because I'm incredible, because I'm incredible, I took all the changes that you made, accepted all of them, and then merged them into my original document.
okay,
So-
but next time I shouldn't create a
You
separate
don't
copy.
have to. You can, you don't have to.
Okay, and will it automatically track changes?
It'll automatically track changes. I should be able to see who's making changes.
Okay.
And then I can accept them
Okay.
on my end.
Do I have to actually go in and highlight the document and
You can
track
just,
changes, or it'll just,
you can just delete what I've put in that's wrong, make your corrections, and it'll show me.
But we don't see everybody else's changes.
You,
So we'll probably be repeating the same
You'll
thing.
see them live, so
you'll
if
see
you,
them if,
if you had a repeat, it would already be noted.
yeah. So if it's already been fixed and corrected by somebody, you're not gonna see it when you go in to look at it.
it'll be there.
It'll just automatic, because I check it practically every day. So,
Okay, starting with the next set of minutes, then I will stop doing what I've had to practice it doing in the past.
Mhm.
I won't be sending a copy to you guys like I have been doing.
As long as we get DG's email.
yep, as
Yeah.
long as you get the
The
link.
only
it should be
copy you
fine.
get is the one that DG sends out, and then hopefully. The changes, if I make any, then at some point they will appear there and you. If you're looking for maybe the same thing I was going to make a change and I've made it first, it should then show up. That's what she's saying.
Mhm.
Let's hope it works that way. That'd be great, just saves. Well, save me and Tom, you've been doing the same thing, so it'll save a step in that process. All right, let's take a look at, we still have,
You have 1 minute
1
until
minute is
the
all.
hearing.
is that enough time? Is there any changes on November 6th?
That's what DG handed out.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of November 6th as previously corrected.
Second,
I have a motion to approve, and is there a second?
second.
Oh, Whitney, thank you. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of the motion to approve the minutes for November the 6th, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Minutes are approved as corrected. All right, we'll come back to the November 13th minutes after the hearing, because it is now 7:45. Which means we'll recess our regular meeting and open the hearing on HTZC 2309, I think. Let me
Yes.
double check. Yes. 2309 for Mr. and Mrs. Wazlowski. All right, with that, DG, would you please call the roll?
All right. Mike Kavler,
Here.
Tom Need,
Here,
Virginia Lewis,
Here.
Joni Manson.
Here.
Brittany Hooper.
Here.
All right, thank you. No one additional has shown up to participate live in the meeting. Do we have anyone participating online?
We do not.
Okay, because we want to make sure we get those people recorded as well as the members present in the audience. So at this time, did you put a sign up sheet out?
I did.
Oh, you've got it right there.
I've received it.
All right. Does it have 4 names on it?
It does.
All right, good. Thank you. So we've got everyone, so we know who's here. Let me just briefly then continue to move forward. Let me introduce the commission members. Starting on my left, Virginia Lewis, Tom Need. I'm Mike Cavler, the chairperson, Joni Manson, vice chair, and Brittany Hopperick, members of the commission. The only official present tonight is our zoning inspector, Mike Cannon, who's sitting out in the audience. Let me explain briefly the hearing purpose, rules, and procedures. As we move into the hearing, which is now open, we will go through the application. Commission members will comment and or ask any initial questions. There will be no public interaction at this time. When that's finished, the public will have an opportunity to comment and ask questions. During this time, please observe the following procedures when it's open to public comment. Step up to the podium, state your name and address. Only one person can speak at a time. At that time, be sure that you are brief and factual. Please do not bring up a point or a question previously addressed and or asked. Remember, only one person can be heard at a time, so do not overtalk the person who is speaking. Please do not carry on any conversations privately while an individual is speaking. If there is a group that wishes to be heard, please have a spokesperson for the group to address the commission. The purpose of the hearing tonight is for the zoning commission to determine if the application contains all the required information. If the required property owners who are adjacent, across from, adjacent to the subject property, if they were notified, if the application or the proposed district meets the requirements for that proposed district, and if it conforms to the township comprehensive plan. Detailed plans for a change from AR1 to FR1, which is this application, are not required. There is no detailed plan for individual lots, for driveways, septic systems, surface water drainage required. Rezoning involves multiple steps and agencies. Our hearing is the first step. Our recommendation goes to the township trustees. If approved by the trustees, then the applicant must go to the county health department for septic system approval, or Delaware County Regional Planning for plat approval, to Delaware County Regional Planning and County Engineer for driveway location, County Engineer Soil Water Conservation District for drainage, and then the Township Zoning Inspector for a zoning permit. The zoning inspector would issue the permit based and review the approvals from the other agencies. He will then determine if the site plan is consistent for size, frontage, and setbacks that are required. When construction occurs, the property owner must provide for surface drainage that complies with an overall plan and does not increase water flow onto a neighbor's property. If concerns do arise, you may contact the zoning inspector, but the zoning inspector has no specific authority. He would provide you with information about who to contact. Okay. Now we will move forward. DG, we do have a copy. I was going to ask you to read it, but I'll take care of that.
Okay.
We did not receive the letter from Delaware Regional Planning as yet, but we do have a copy of their minutes. And Mr. Cannon indicated to me he was there for their meeting last week. Here is the recommendation from Delaware Regional Planning. I should have, I'm sorry, DG, I was going to have you read the public notice first.
Oh, yeah, sure, I can do that.
Got ahead of myself.
Right. Okay, I'm probably gonna butcher your last name. I apologize. Okay. The Highland Township Zoning Commission is being asked to consider the following: Connie and Devin Wasilovsky, 1500 Green Cook Road, Sunbury, Ohio, 43074, are seeking to rezone 5.034 acres from current zoning AR1 agricultural residential to FR1 farm residential located at 1500 Green Cook Road, Sunbury, Ohio, parcel ID 316 11002017001. The hearing is scheduled for December 4th, 2023, 7:45 at the Harlem Township Building, 383 South State Route 605, Galena, Ohio.
Thank you. DG, is the application on the correct form?
Yes.
Has the applicant or agent signed the request for zoning?
Yes.
What is the specific zoning request?
We are rezoning 5.034 acres from AR1 to FR1.
All right, thank you. Members of the commission, was the correct legal description furnished in text and map, and do they reinforce each other?
I found no problems.
Unless there is something that someone observed, then we're all in agreement that there were no issues with the description as furnished. DG, have the adjacent, adjoining, contiguous and or across from property owners been notified?
Yes, they have. They were notified on November 9th.
Were any of the letters returned?
No.
All right. Members of the commission, are there any other possible errors noted?
On the affidavit, it has the parcel size listed as 5.024, not 34. I'm assuming that's just a typo. Cause I didn't see that issue anywhere else.
So the application should read 5.024.
No, I believe the application is correct. The temporary power of attorney is the typo.
All right, I was trying, you said affidavit, so.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's the power of attorney.
On the power of attorney,
Yeah.
okay. So the power of attorney should be 5 point.
034 instead of 24.
Talking about the same parcel, just a typo.
Yeah, I don't think it's a fatal issue at all. I just. think
Okay.
it's-
Buddy's finger hit the wrong key. But would you make note of that? On the original DG?
Yeah.
Since this was notarized at 5.24. We're making a note that it should have been 5.34.
034 and
Oh, sorry, yeah.
0.034. Yes, I'm sorry if I left out the zero. What is the recommendation of the Delaware Regional Planning Commission?
Oh, I just wanted
Well-
to note that look, there are two powers of attorney. And it's wrong on both of them.
Yes,
Oh, well, yes, absolutely. There's two documents that are powers of attorney, which just happens to be. One is signed by,
one for Connie and one for Devin.
yeah. Both of them are wrong, and that's what Joni's pointing out.
Yeah.
I assumed we would make that correction. Okay. I have received a copy of the minutes, which were forwarded or are available. Mr. Cannon attended this meeting of the Regional Planning Commission. They normally send us a letter so that we would have it for this meeting, but we haven't received it. So I'm going to read 2 paragraphs from their minutes regarding the information, their action on application HTC 32309 for Connie and Devin Wazlowski, 5.034 acres. They're requesting that the rezoning be from AR1 to FR1 for the lot split into 2 residential lots. The recommendation from zoning, the Delaware Regional Planning Commission is the Harlem Township's 2021 comprehensive plan recommends maintaining a 2 net acre minimum lot size for all lot splits and rezonings and residential developments that do not utilize sewer facilities. Request is supported by the plan. Staff recommendations. Staff recommends approval of the rezoning request by Connie and Devin Kozlowski from AR1 to FR1 to the Delaware County Harlem Township Zoning Commission and the Harlem Township trustees. There are no conditions. I have a question. And I had asked the applicant, in this case, Mr. Clace, if you would just state a general overview for what we are being asked to approve.
Joe Clace, here on behalf of Connie and Devin, with Plan for Land and with my wife Stephanie. So the overview, we were contacted maybe 2-3 years ago by their daughter. They had an interest in splitting the property in 2. We kind of discussed the process and time has passed, but they're now ready to consider splitting the property. We did look at it's an existing pasture in the back. Likely to be a new home constructed at the rear of the existing home. And I realize you guys are neighbors to the north, correct? So I kind of talked to it in relationship to that, but we've looked at soils to make sure it's suitable for on-site septic. We're going to continue the lot split process where this is kind of the early phases of a potential lot split is to get the zoning secured to ensure that we could meet the township standards. We did look at gross acreage and net acreage. There's a 20-foot drainage easement across the back of most of these properties when they were originally split. Consumes about 2/10, well, 1.5 of an acre. We believe as part of the lot split, we'll have to record an additional sanitary easement across the front. So in consideration of that, I think we have about 4.5 acres net after the lot split would be accomplished. So
I didn't catch.
We believe we'd have another 1/10, 1.45 acres that would be dedicated for a sanitary easement as a part of the split. But beyond that, we're not aware of any additional easements that would be required. So we took the right of way out, we took the drainage easement. So it looks like, at least based on township standards, that it would be able to be split into 1 additional lot at the back of the property. We looked at a flag access to access that property or that acreage in the back. So still working out some of those details, but other than that, we felt like it was in keeping with the comprehensive plan when we talked a few years ago. I don't believe the comprehensive plan's been updated to reflect anything different. So we're asking for AR1 to FR1 change to allow for 2 lot split. The existing house would be on the front lot, and then we'd have a new lot to the back that we'd split for the family there. And I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
I'm looking at the auditor's website. It did not look like there's another flag lot right beside it, right?
Correct. Yeah. There's actually I don't believe we included all the deeds for the neighboring properties, but the original survey for this, if it was included with the deed, would indicate there's joining 5-acre tracts to the north and south, but no flag lots directly adjacent to this property.
There is 1 flag lot across the road. That's the Dunlap property. And then the Schuster property. Do you know where the driveway for that or the 2 driveway, the flag lot, the new flag lot driveway and the existing Schuster driveway, are they likely to be in conflict with you?
I don't know that I can address that. It's been a bit since I've looked at the aerial photograph, but I believe they're intended to semi-align if possible. It's with across the roads where you're
The
talking.
2 driveways should or should not. But they were
Let me
not.
take a look here. Oh, so that aligns more with the existing drive. I apologize. So the new drive, it's my understanding it would align across from parcel with ends in 02. The one that notices 11 and 12 were sent to. The new driveway would align with those.
but aligned with that driveway.
Correct. That's the intention.
The new driveway, which will provide access to both the existing house and then serve as the flagged lot driveway.
So it's my understanding they're requesting separate drives, separate drive access, so it will not be a shared drive. So the new access to the north would align with the parcel that.
But you haven't discussed that with regional planning yet.
Correct. We'll have to go through that review, but I think the engineer's office had indicated that, yeah.
The
they- not really.
usual expectation, they're trying to keep down the number of cuts, so that's why I asked the question I asked.
Yeah, no, the Schuster property, I think the intent is to try to align with that property across the way. 1517 Green Book.
And then the other lots that are adjacent to it, if anybody decides they want to split those in the future, they either have to have enough frontage to provide for the lot, or if there's looking at possibility of another flag, it'd have to be a lot in between.
Correct, yeah.
But that's not your issue, that's future.
And
You're
luckily,
good.
most of these have some options since they're sort of on corners.
Mm.
You could access them different ways.
Well, over here on this one, not on that one.
Yeah, but they could do the north end. You could-
Yeah. That's a
Whatever.
future problem.
Okay,
Thank
anybody
you.
have another question?
I
Thank
can
you.
trip back up if I need to.
All right, thank you, please. All right, at this point then, if there's no further question or comments from the commission at this time, we'll open up to the public. Any members of the public have questions or comments that you would like to make regarding this application? Yes, all right. Just state your name and your address when you get to the microphone.
Hi, I'm Debbie Kessler and we live at 1448 Green Cook Road. So we're the house north of the proposed split. I just want to point out the drainage in the back doesn't work, has not worked. So we have very wet property and I don't know how that would play a role. But it's a genuine concern of mine.
I can address if you'd like to at least make sure that your comments are addressed there. I promised I'd make the trip back up. So I do realize that's why the easement may not be functioning in the back, so we'll have to make recommendations for potential improvements as a part of the lot split. So we can take that up with soil and water. They'll do a site visit as part of the lot split process to take a look at any way that we can fix drainage. Does it drain toward your property or does it drain to the south? I can't recall off the top of my, I think it drains to the south, correct? Across this site.
I think you should talk to the neighbors behind us because they did an extensive thing. I should say research with soil and water. And they wanted all the houses north of us, how I understand it, to put in a lot of money to get drainage that works. So it has been researched. That's why I'm bringing it up. But
Okay.
you need to know that
Yeah.
and who to contact.
Okay.
So that's helpful.
We'll definitely look into that. I might get your phone number so I can call you if we have questions, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I'll pass you my info here.
The drainage issues, as I had mentioned at the beginning, would be something that will be addressed by Delaware County Soil and Water, and you apparently already have had some involvement with that in the past.
Right, the neighbors behind us.
Yeah, behind you. So the
There was.
the expectation and the requirement, I should say, excuse me, the requirement basically is that as a result of new construction, there should be no increase in the amount of water that would impact on your property. And that's what Mr. Clace will discuss further with you.
Yeah, and do those neighbors behind you, do they have a pond back there too?
Fires.
Meetings here, there should be a record of it. was discussed to increase taxes to pay for update to the
So it might have been a drainage petition where
Sounds like it.
where the on-site owners would have an increase in their taxes depending on how much contribution, how much gain they were getting from the improvements.
correct.
And there should be a record of the drainage petition, whether it was successful or not. Apparently, in this case, it was not.
We can inquire with Soil and Water. They're usually the administrator of that, so we'll see if they have some records they can share with us. Thank you.
Great.
Appreciate it.
And both parcels, this 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 have ponds.
Okay,
Thank you. Any further question?
Thanks for hearing us.
You're very welcome. And it's important that you continue to do that follow-up with Mr. Clace and then with Soil and Water. Because at some point down the road, it will come back to potentially becoming back to zoning, but the only person who will be involved with that at that point, if it's approved by the trustees, will be the zoning inspector, Mr. Cannon. Because he will be the person that would have to sign off in terms of providing that the zoning is appropriate for the property, and they will have to have that signature before they can get a building permit. Members of the commission, at this point, then I will close the hearing. I should say, just double check and make sure there wasn't anyone online that wanted to speak, correct?
Nope.
Okay. There is no one, so back to then, we'll close the public portion of the hearing and come back to the commission. Any further comments or questions from the zoning commission?
I would point out to you, this really has nothing to do with the rezoning. But one of the issues on this particular parcel is that the gross acreage is in excess of 5 acres. The net acreage is 4 point something,
6, 7.
which makes it a non-conforming lot. And there are difficulties in case there's damage to the existing residence if you have a non-conforming lot, and there are restrictions on additions to the existing residence if you have a non-conforming lot. You also have a non-conforming lot. So you should, I would think, pay attention to what's going on here, because it may have an impact on what you do going forward.
So why is our lot not conforming?
Because your gross acreage is 5.001 acres. It's gross acreage. The township zoning is based on net acreage, because since it was always septic systems, we were very concerned that somebody didn't get for a different example, a 2-acre lot that didn't have sufficient area for a septic and a backup septic. And we said, before you calculate the acreage, you have to remove all of the easements, the right-of-way, drainage easements, utility easements, access easements. None of that counts towards your net acreage. I would have to assume that at 5.001 gross acres, after you deduct the road right-of-way, you'll be under 5. And that creates issues in doing renovations or repairs to the existing structure, or if it's damaged, replacing it. So there are reasons for.
When you say existing structures, I'm confused,
He's referring to the structures that are already on the property.
right?
So if your home is damaged because it's a non-conforming lot, you can indeed repair the damage, but there are limitations in terms of how much additional space you might choose to add. And that's only because it's a non-conforming lot.
yeah, so if your house was involved in a tornado or a fire or something like that, you would be allowed to rebuild on your existing footprint. And I think it's like 20% additional if you
Yeah, I
wanted
don't
to
recall the
expand
details,
it.
but
There's
it's-
a limit to it.
Yeah,
Like,
it
you
is a
couldn't Make
limit.
it twice as big as it is now. without running into problems.
Going through the same process would be an option though.
Yeah,
And even if you're choosing not to split, it brings you into a conforming lot as opposed to a non-conforming lot. So-
Because in this case, even if we rezone it as FR1, which is a minimum 2 net acres. There's nothing that says that an FR1 property can't be 4.6 acres. It doesn't have to be split. You could
Right.
be a conforming farm residential FR1 lot with 4 acres.
So I'm curious with the planning, is Harlem Township sort of like receptive to splitting lots or?
Where it fits within our comprehensive master plan, yes, there's not much say we as a zoning commission have over that, if it fits the intent of the master plan that we have and follows all the requirements of the zoning resolution, then it's not really for us to have an opinion on. It either is allowed or it isn't.
the only ones that have failed is when neighbors have put a petition on the ballot to overturn the trustee's decision.
Because there's big pine trees between our lot and that lot, so.
Mhm.
I don't think it's too much.
Yeah, I think from what I recall, it's pretty well buffered, but along with that, it's not intended with development that it would be, that they would cut the trees. They'll be mindful of what's there. The intent is just to provide the option of additional build site on the lot. In that back pasture area after it gets dried out.
Unless you have a major calamity, there's nothing for you to be concerned about because your lot is currently non-conforming. And if that were to happen, then you can find out what all the specific details are because you will be able to rebuild. There are just some certain requirements that you'll have to follow at that time. But it
Some of
doesn't.
us on this commission also live on non-conforming lots and are not too concerned
Yeah,
about it. so.
right, that may be changed by then. All right. All right, thank you. Okay, commission members, what's your pleasure at this point?
Mr. Chairman, the budget application HTZC 2309, excuse me, conforms to the intent of the Harlem Township Comprehensive Plan and appears to meet applicable aspects of the Harlem Township zoning resolution. I move that the Harlem Township Zoning Commission recommend to the Harlem Township Board of Trustees that said application be approved.
All right, thank you. I have a motion to approve and as a recommendation to the township trustees. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Mr. Need. Okay, at this point, discussion on the motion. Any further discussion? It appears that everyone is satisfied at this point. There's no further discussion. Then with that, DG, would you please call the roll?
All right, Mike Kavler,
Aye.
Tom Need,
Aye.
Joni Manson,
Aye.
Brittany Hopper.
Aye.
Virginia Lewis.
All right,
Thank you. With that, that means that we as a zoning commission are recommending to the township trustees that they approve the zoning change request. It hasn't been changed because the only action that's can be make the change is one done by the township trustees. So our recommendation goes to them. And they will receive the recommendation within a few days. Once they receive our recommendation, then within 5 days, they will have to set a hearing date. And they must set the hearing date within 30 days of receipt of our recommendations. And they must provide notice in the newspaper. It will be on the township website. And they will post it on the back door at least 10 days prior to the hearing. And then they will hold the hearing within 20 days after the notice is published. And it's only published in the Delaware Gazette as far as the newspaper print, and it will be on the township website. If approved, the zoning amendment becomes effective 30 days after the trustees' approval. unless a referendum petition is presented to the trustees, which requires that signatures be obtained, and they would be based upon percentage. In this case, now it's up to 15% of registered voters in the last gubernatorial election in order to get a petition, referendum petition on the ballot to be approved by the residents of the township. That hasn't happened now for a couple of years. It has happened at times in the past, and that's what Ms. Manson was referring to earlier. But unless that were to happen, the zoning effect will go into effect 30 days after the trustees take action on it. It's likely that the trustees will set their hearing on this next month in January. But they will receive our recommendation later this week, and then let's see, their meeting this month is, I saw it on the board, was the 28th. Are they meeting twice this month? Does anyone know? Because the regular meeting date wouldn't be on the 28th.
No, the regular meeting date would be the 20th.
Yeah, it'd be on the 20th.
Right?
So I don't know.
Unless the 28th is their organizational meeting, but I thought they had to wait till January.
I thought they had to wait till January for
I did
organization.
too.
But you and I are thinking the same way, but maybe they don't.
Yeah, I don't.
January. I don't think there's more than just the one meeting.
Maybe it said the 20th.
Oh, look like the 28th.
Well, the only reason I'm bringing up their dates is whenever they would meet, that's when they would then set the hearing. So the way to find out about when their hearing is going to be is to go to the township website and see the announcement, because they will post a hearing date announcement on the township website. And the other option, you could call the township office, call the trustee office, and ask Kendra Bohr, who will be the person who would answer the phone as the administrative assistant to the trustees, and she can tell you when the hearing would be. Okay, thank you all very much. With that, then we'll close the hearing on HTCC 23-9. And then we'll bring our regular meeting out of recess. Oh, well, let's have a motion to close the hearing. Didn't ask for that, should.
I'll make a motion to close the hearing on HTZC 2309.
Thank you, and a second.
Second.
Thank you, Tom. Moved and seconded to close the hearing on HTC 2309. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. All right, the hearing is closed. And now, DG, would you call the roll as we bring the regular meeting out of recess?
All right, once more with feeling. Mike Kavler.
Here.
Tom Need.
Aye.
All right, Virginia Lewis.
Here.
Jody Manson.
Here.
Brittany Hooper.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe, for providing such a nice, clear description of the net acreage calculation.
Thank you, guys. I enjoyed it. It was, I like math. You have a minute I can talk to you about conservation. I didn't bring my presentation, but, I might quickly, I'll step up to the mic if it matters to you.
Okay,
I won't take more than 2 minutes.
well, we will definitely make time to hear that. Now, you're coming back in January?
I am, yeah. So I just wanted to manage expectations, but I wanted to kind of give you a brief overview of what we've been working on. We did get final engineering plans. This is for the southeast corner at Forsich in Harlem. It's the Conservancy at Duncan Run. I think it was previously stated as the
The
Estates at Duncan Run. Because of the conservation nature of the project, the applicant modified the title of it with the county. So that project's been referred to as the Conservancy at Duncan Run. We've been working diligently, trying to understand, because it's a new type of development for the county as well. So the minimum lot size is being an acre. We've spent a lot of attention talking about primary and secondary treatment, and I'll have some updates for you in January on how we're trying to work with that to maybe be a little bit more flexible in the design. Other than that, we've been working with Mark Dilley and his team on the wetland, and they're going to have a plan hopefully by the end of the year for the final details on the wetland design that we can review with you and get feedback before we, it doesn't officially need to be approved from what I understand with the county, but the grading plan that goes with it does. So if there's substantial changes around it, we'll work with you guys. There are a couple plans circulated around that we're trying to work back in the nature of what we talked about during the zoning, because as the engineers got a hold of it, one of the examples, we had a reforestation between the houses and the road, and they put the wetland in that area. So we pulled that back so we can keep the reforestation in those areas. So that's why I'm kind of excited to bring it to you next month and not now, because I don't have those new exhibits to share with you, but I will have those for January. Other than that, I think we expect we probably want to formalize some of those changes to the development plan to make sure. One of the comments that came out, we previously had a street stub further to the west, closer to the entrance. The county engineers pushed that street stub to the back of the development to stub to the south property. So this will be the first time I've brought a development plan back to you with some minor changes. And I know we talked about that during the original development plan approval. I feel that we've kept the spirit and intent of everything else that was in the zoning. But we'll have that coming back to you. In addition, the cul-de-sac that was previously on the plan got modified to a common access drive. So that will not be public road, will not be the responsibility any further for the township to plow and maintain and pave and do all that. So it seemed as though that's a good win for the township. But that change will be coming back to you as well. So the final engineering plan actually indicates a 5-lot CAD that's off the side street. And then that provides, or it's off the main drag essentially, but instead of a cul-de-sac. So we feel like that's probably a win-win. The county engineer actually recommended that as a part. Didn't make sense to have a cul-de-sac street for what ended up being 3 lots because the 2 frontage lots were already there. But with the common access drive, we're able to limit 2 more curb cuts off of that main drive as it goes through the project. So I'll bring those back to you. If there's a formal process for you to consider minor modifications to the plan, I want to make sure we're able to introduce that to you as well. So I just wanted to bring that up to you, that we might be discussing some small changes that occurred during engineering.
Okay, well, we were aware that there were some changes that would be forthcoming because that became an issue right after the plan was initially approved, so.
And I knew when we talked then, we talked about whether there'd be a form for those modifications, or if the application needed filed. I can't recall where we landed on that, but I wanted to keep my client abreast too. So if we need to file a formal application to consider those changes, let me know. But ultimately, I'll be here to talk about those in January, whether we're introducing.
I'll have to go back and review what the requirements are in terms of making the modifications, because off the top of my head, I can't tell you.
Okay, yeah, I can't recall either.
You're the first one to be dealing with.
Yeah,
this.
and this is it's unique in many ways, so we're looking forward to it. But we'll work with you on that schedule. If we have to come back in a future meeting to have a public hearing on it, we'll do that. But my goal would be to make sure we can cover some, at least the introduction of some of those changes. as
And
part of
we
this
can
discussion.
discuss that with you in January when you come in for that
Okay.
meeting.
And how much time are you allotting on the agenda in January? I wanted to make sure I was prepared as well. Is it something that's a half hour, 20 minutes?
I
10,
haven't
5 minutes?
looked at the specifics on the agenda yet, because we're
Okay.
only, at this point, we're only scheduled for one meeting, but
Okay.
at this point, I would say 30 minutes.
Okay, great. Well, that's all I had for you. I look forward to seeing you after the first of the year.
All right,
All right, thank you.
When are you planning to break ground?
It'll be a spring construction project. It's my understanding that they're aiming for late March, early April right now. And then that's all subject to engineering approval from the county as well. So that's why I say we can come back and do those modifications if necessary. The township will be reaching out to your zoning inspector to make sure that the plan is in keeping. So at some point that inquiry is probably going to come across in February. or
And that's
March.
why we need to make sure that in terms of this, what the zoning commission approves.
Yep.
Is the plan then that he would.
Yep.
be holding you to.
Yep. So if we need to bring in a formal application, we'll do that in January. I just wanted to make sure you guys were up to speed otherwise, so.
A minor change does not require the same procedures as the original application in the request of a modification or amendment.
There is a form that we have used
Yes.
for other modifications.
Shall utilize the same procedure and criteria as established for the approval of the original development plan. These are for substantial, so a change in character, development, increase in overall lot coverage, density, problems in traffic circulation, reduction of open space.
I think we're actually making it better on all those accounts. So the hope is it's a minor modification.
Yeah.
to the plan.
So for minor, it's not subject to the same procedures, but we do not have procedures listed for what we expect for
But I
minor.
think we did have a form created.
We do
for
have
it.
a form for minor.
I
Yes,
just don't remember.
so I will pull that form out and
Okay,
get it over to you.
As you know, you're the guinea pig for this.
sounds great. Wink, wink. It'll be fun. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Merry Christmas. Have a good
Merry
day.
Christmas.
All right, thank you. All right, let's go now back to the 13th for review of the minutes. We didn't deal with November 13. Let's do that one.
I mean, I have it in the email.
Are there any additional changes?
No.
You can look for the ones that you specifically submitted and see if they're there.
I make a motion to approve the zoning commission workshop minutes of November 13th as previously corrected.
All right, thank you, Joni. A second.
Second.
Thank you, Brittany. Further discussion? All right, seeing none, then all those in favor of approving the minutes for November 13th, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Minutes are approved as corrected.
Most our audience.
Very good. And that takes us down to new business.
Refreshments.
Do we have copies of the procedural guidelines now?
I believe that I had sent one out and I'm seeing now on my email that there were edits that were sent to me that I did not update. So I apologize for that. I'm working on writing those down so that I can add those on there, but this is
If you want to make those changes, I can print fresh copies.
I was gonna say, they're all in separate emails, so let me jot them all down and then instead of like flipping back and forth since I don't have my computer. And then I will let you know.
I'm gonna start adding stuff out.
Okay.
What, in the meantime, why don't we discuss the schedule for January?
Just a second. Trying to figure out what how about, you said you'd have changes in the procedural guidelines. How about the checklist? Are there any additional changes on that one that you received?
Let me sift through these emails. I don't think so. There are only a few minor things, and if I can get them all in one spot and DG can edit them on the computer really quickly, then
Okay,
Yeah, I have the document pulled up. I can make those
all right.
real fast if you guys talk amongst yourselves for about 5 minutes.
Okay, well, let's do that then.
Um,
We can talk about the workshop meeting for January. At this point, we are scheduled to meet once in January, on January 8th as a regular meeting. We had talked about that before. And also, we're going to meet at 7 o'clock for our organizational meeting on the 8th, and then a regular meeting following that at 7:30.
Mhm.
We talked about holding a meeting, a workshop meeting in January or not, depending upon the need. At this point, we had decided that, I thought last time that we would wait until we met on December the 11th to make a determination about whether we're going to meet on a second meeting in January or not, depending upon the discussion with Scott Sanders at that time.
Yeah,
So I have some notes about meeting on the 22nd instead of on the 15th.
Correct.
if necessary, I put.
If necessary.
yeah.
And we were going to discuss it on December the 11th, I thought,
With Scott,
with Scott.
yeah. That's what my note says too.
And then make a determination as to whether or not we would need to have this meeting on the 22nd.
Okay.
We were just talking about potentially holding that date in case we needed to meet.
That's, it's clear.
But we are meeting on the 8th.
Yes.
One of the items that's going to be on the agenda. You've now heard about Joe. I had talked with him earlier about planning to come in on the 8th. To give us an update on where things stood with. Conservancy at Duncan.
Yeah, so it looks like the checklist is good. There are only 3 in. This is real good ones.
Okay,
So these are all very minor changes.
Yes, yes.
last paragraph, page 1,
Where did we land on the meeting?
space between 12 and 12.
Where we're
Yeah.
waiting to see what things.
Oh.
Okay. Well, let's. While. DG is going ahead and making those changes, we can take a look at. The application for amendment of the township zoning map, which. She has
That's very
revised and provided to us. Here it is, though. This is the latest version. I've got one.
Application is lowercase than that. And then additional. Something to change.
I'm gonna download it and do it, because otherwise it's gonna track the changes, and then that's the version that you guys are gonna vote on. That has the track changes, and you don't want this
No, we
mark
want
throughs.
to approve.
Okay. Let's do this properly. All right.
It's gone. It's gone.
Is there a reason that AR1 is pre-populated in the proposed zoning district?
It should have been.
He addressed that last time, as I recall.
That should be blank. I think when
Were you able to change it?
yeah, it is actually
Yeah,
changed
this
in the
one-
document. I
this
think
one.
when I printed, the AR1 was selected, was
Was
selected,
still there.
was still there.
Okay,
It's,
but you were able to change it,
yeah,
so it's
because I
fine.
was demoing it for myself to make sure the AR1 was left.
Okay,
Okay,
So that is not real.
okay.
Yep, there's a blank spot.
so if it's printed offline now, it just comes out blank,
It just comes out blank. Yeah,
unless someone chooses.
unless someone makes the decision and
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The note at the bottom.
Mhm.
Where it says, i.e. the fee for 5.25 acres, and my scratched out is 2.25
Okay.
on my,
Oh, okay.
I don't know whether I got it wrong or,
I changed it to 5 because I believe when we discussed it, it was too low, and I just wanted to make sure there was an acreage amount that we all knew was good.
yes,
Yeah, it was 1.2.
It was 1, so I put it at 5 because that seems to be
5.25 is fine.
what most,
No, it doesn't matter.
As
It's
long
just a
as the math
sample,
is
as long as the math is correct.
which I believe I did right. I got an English. degree.
65.
Is it 165 times 5.25? Is that how that
So
works?
Mhm.
it's 165 times 5 is 825. And 165 times 0.25 is the additional $41.
cents for a total of $2,066.25.
Is that true? 1,200. Yes.
Yep. Math is correct.
Um,
Do we know if any of these are changing?
the English major in me would say we should have dollar signs in front of 2825 and 41.25.
Okay.
Not really.
It was on the old one.
Did you? Yeah, discussion. That would be. Yeah.
Yeah, he's looked at it. He hasn't had any issues or problems or anything. Yeah, he's loved it, so. Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to make sure because they, people choose to put it out online and then print it. They can put it on blank and fill it in.
Yeah.
Add application. At this point, ready to take action to say yes. Let's approve this application. Oh, obviously, we'll at our organization. I guess I'm looking for, a recommendation. This would be the application we'll bring forward.
I want to DG about. These works. Yeah. But if you have a really big one.
They need more. Pages.
Might still be numbered 5 to 20.
Yeah.
I can, if they really need it that bad, they can contact the office and I will make them a custom one that's labeled all the way through.
Right, TG, you gonna kill me?
We've
Well,
only
I
had a
looked up
few
on
that have
page
had
one,
that
first
many.
line, I think application should be application. Wait a second. I misread it and he's wanting it lowercase, but it was lowercase, right?
Yeah, it was.
Okay. So that one was fine. Yeah, infringement copies, my bad,
Okay.
I'm interrupted.
I'd rather be absolutely correct than.
Okay.
Word.
Well, this copy should have been too. But wait a second, where is the 12 even on here? Did you find the 12?
I didn't actually find the 12, I think because we actually.
Yeah, so wait a second.
What are you talking about?
Some of these were here and then Mike's wasn't. Did you catch that one? On the one that you printed, the only error that is not there is on page 2. When we talk about the additional requirements for a subdivision,
Yeah.
it said items 1 through 8. It should have been items 1 through 5. That was the only one we were missing. So that's
That
the
should
only.
be a 5 instead of an 8.
Okay, that's the only change, okay.
Sorry, my bad. I don't know. I don't know how I thought we missed the other ones, but got the other. I don't know.
Where was this, Mike? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Switch that other. The letter back.
It's on page 2.
It's okay, there's a reason I saved like 5 copies of things.
So
It's okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth paragraph down.
So it should be 5.
Should be 5. Because there's no longer 8 items, there's only 5 items.
Correct.
Actually, mine still has 8.
That's the only.
What?
That's the only correction that we missed. It should show 5 and your copy currently says 8.
That's
you.
because I
Okay,
still-
there it is.
I still have 8 numbers here.
How does it turn into 5?
Well, on the checklist, there's 5.
Okay, wait, never mind. Hang on. Do anything.
How does it turn into 5? It's showing me all of the items enumerated above. And items 1 through 8. I got 8 of my
That
list.
had been changed to 5. I don't know, now it's back to 8.
But I
What's happened
I
here?
don't have page 2 of mine anymore.
But I
I
have.
stole, okay,
It's on my
I
page
stole your page too.
But look,
So it
we
says,
have
okay,
8 donuts.
so I am
Oh,
changing the
I
one.
know that,
you
that's what I'm
said-
saying.
Why are we changing it to back to 5?
Because it was 5 when I made that.
Total
change.
Application, okay.
There were not 8 enumerated items, there
Well,
were
it seems
only
like-
5.
Yeah,
She
so-
set this up to match,
The checklist, yeah.
My checklist is fine.
and that's why there's 5. But
Yes.
now it's back to 8.
Why are we back to 8 on there?
Because 3 and 4 are supposed to be the same, all number 3. Like the numbers on the procedural guidelines are supposed to match the checklist.
Yeah,
That's
and I
right,
thought
they are.
so where has that copy gotten lost?
Still,
Yeah.
Something
Okay,
happened
so
to the
3.
document that it's back to what it was originally.
Let me see if
I
I,
think these documents are what it, it's mine shows 1 through 5.
yes.
Let's see if I
So
can.
where did that one, how did we get these?
I don't
Uh,
Yeah, let me check my emails, but that's the last one I have from you, so.
I'm not saying that I didn't mess it up. I make no promises of that. I just don't know how. Yeah.
Let's see.
So it's like the procedural guidelines that we got attached to here to what we were just given.
See, this is the way it's supposed to look.
They are-
There's
yeah,
just
these are
5.
old ones, and we should have
This
a
is the
new
way,
procedural guide.
this is the way it looked when I made the change,
Okay,
crossing out 8 and making it 5. So something happened.
I might not have a copy of that, so.
When I click on the link that you. Right.
Somewhere.
So the link I have sent most recently is correct. Except for,
It's-
I
I've got the
see,
same
so the link,
Okay.
then
5, and then I had to change that from 8 to 5.
Yeah.
Have anything from Virginia
And this
that's
says-
earlier than last month's, or that's later than last month's meeting. of
What's
it,
the date
so
that was sent?
Well,
I
this,
might not have this copy.
that was before last month's meeting. That,
yeah, the link from last month's meeting has the 1 through 5, right?
right, correct. That's
The-
what she's holding my copy right there now.
Let me see if I can change the 1 through 8 to 1 to 5 really quickly, and then I will send this to you again. How the frick do I edit
can't
this?
you
on
just
my phone?
click the link? This link, no, it's already. up
The
there.
link is there, but can I edit it from that link? I don't know that I can. So if you look at my email, are you even on this one? You are on this one. Okay, this is November 6th.
Okay,
Because we made more changes than just updating the numbers.
But those were ones that were sent after that meeting.
I don't know
So I
where this
believe-
came. This is like the original version.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
This one. Yeah,
This
the
is-
8.
Yeah, I believe all of our changes are noted in the November 11th, November 6th one,
This is
with
all
the
old.
exception of the 5 and 8 issue.
Yeah, if you just click on the link from the November 6th email and print that one.
So we're gonna get rid of this set.
the one.
We'll recycle this set.
Yeah, this one will go. Because we made more updates than
Yeah.
that. Except the checklist in the link is not good.
Well, that's what we're trying to make sure that we've got a document, and they should have,
And
we
the
should have
one-
dates on the bottom of the
That's
form so
the
that we know which
Okay.
version we're
that's-
looking at.
So when we get to the one on the link,
okay.
These 3
Okay,
changes-
I found it's,
so this should be lowercase.
mhm.
So there's 3 then. In the one that there's the. Did you get the one from the link?
Okay, yes, now I find.
So there are only 5 items in it now, right?
Yeah, there's only 5.
Okay, so then in this paragraph, whoop, right below 5. It says items 1 through 8, that should be 1 through 5. And then back up on the first page, this has the 12 in it somewhere. The last paragraph,
Oh, found it.
that needs the space. And then the last paragraph on page 2. Application should be lowercase somewhere. At the first line. Maybe it was already fixed. Okay, then I.
Oh, wait, nope, found it. Oh, found it.
Okay, then I think we're good.
Okay.
Now,
Maybe.
before you close that out,
Be rid of some blocks.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, I think she's happy, isn't it?
the last line on it is HTZC procedural guidelines 11/2023. We want to change that to January 2024 as the ID for the document.
Really? Cause if we're going to approve them before January, we shouldn't have a January
No,
date on it.
I was thinking we put 12/23. If we approve these.
Yeah.
And then we can adopt them. When we adopt them in January, we'll identify from what we are using, there from that point forward.
Okay.
We won't, if we approve them now, we're not gonna use them until January.
Right.
I think we should pick a different random date, just scratch that one out. Go for.
1923.
Yes.
So I think they should all have the date on them of 12/23. Because I want us to take action on them if we don't do it tonight, we'll have to do it next week.
I think we're good. I think we will be able to take action once we get these copies. I think we finally figured it out.
Yeah. And the application form can have that date at the bottom also,
Mhm.
12/20.
But it should identify it, I think. This one says HTZC. What does it say? Procedural guidelines. So the application for amendment should say something similar, HTZC application for amendment or.
They can just, yeah, but we could say just HTZC app 12/20.
Well, now we gotta change the checklist too, Tom.
And then we gotta do the checklist same way.
You see the issue? Gotta change them all.
And the checklist.
And this is over on the right-hand side of the page. Are these all on the
Yeah.
left-hand side of the page?
Well, which side? Let's just be consistent.
I don't know why we need the label on the bottom when it's already at the top too.
We don't have a date on here
Yeah,
anywhere.
I think we should have a date so it identified.
Yeah, we should have the date, but I don't know that we need to name it on at the end as well as the title.
Well, all I'm thinking of is in terms of a shorthand way of referring to it by a form number.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bit of a hassle, but we got there, I think.
HTCC 23 procedural guidelines 12/23. It's
Yeah,
there.
this is really, really nitpicky. Can we get this spacing condensed down so that it's back onto 2 pages at some point?
Probably.
Okay.
That's probably the easiest
Yeah,
change.
I don't know that we need to hold off on approving it until that it's done. I think that can be changed later.
That
I
would be
think that-
formatting, and as long as we're not changing any of the content, I'm comfortable with that.
Yes, yes, so. On an eventual
It does
to-do
seem like there's
list.
a lot of space between paragraphs.
Yeah, there.
And it wasn't, my intention was always to have the procedural guidelines be 1 page, front and back, and the checklist be 1 single-sided page to make it user-friendly. So again, that's not a huge concern.
It should be possible
Yes.
because of all the extra space in between the paragraphs.
So just so you are all on the same page, the hand you now have in the copy you now have in your hands has spaces between the word 12 and the number 12 in number 1, the bottom of page 1. For Tom's request. And then page 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs, so right below the bold. Items 1 through 5 as opposed to 1 through 8 per Mike's request. And then somewhere, we don't remember where, there was a capitalized application And we've made it a lowercase application, but I don't remember what that is.
Okay.
And the document identification is now 1223. It's 12/20.
Yes.
All right. So, other than the formatting where we're eliminating some of the white space, so it will fit on one page front and back. There's no additional changes.
I do not believe so.
And we have a motion to approve these for utilization beginning in 2024.
I make a motion that we approve the Harlem Township procedural guidelines for zoning amendments as updated in December of 2023 for use starting in January of 2024.
Excellent. Second,
That one.
Second.
all right. Tom,
So many
it's Tom.
seconds.
Second.
Further discussion?
Did you find another thing?
Well,
We just.
If we did, if so, we have to go back and amend the motion.
So here we spell out the whole website URL, and here we only show. Here's going to- so, there you
Is it in more than one?
go. I'm just looking at. Here, right here, okay, on the middle of paragraph. Number 4,
Yes,
or item
I-
number
yeah.
4. Delaware County,
It's not hyperlinked. That's your issue. You want them to both be the hyperlink.
Hyperlink is a formatting issue, so yeah, it's pretty easily done. I
okay,
can do it at the same time as I'm fixing the white space.
all right, so you
Do
see
you-
where,
do you
you see
see
where
that?
that is?
Yeah.
It's in the middle of paragraph item number 4,
Oh, so you want that Delaware County Auditor.org to become a hyperlink?
like this is,
Just like on the
Just like
third
regional planning.
paragraph of page
Yeah.
1.
I mean, I think. Did Pete?
Oh, that's more than just a hyperlink. That's the whole spelled out URL.
Yeah, yeah. It's
you
not
do
gonna
that?
add a line to, I mean, there's plenty of room on the last line.
Yeah.
And I think, if you've got a form and you have a link, make it work. That's all.
Can you do that, DG? Make that a URL?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Fixing it in the procedural guidelines right now.
All right.
That's the end of the discussion.
So do I need to make an amendment to my motion?
No, that was a,
That's formatting, okay.
Just maybe adding the phrase including,
Including the formatting changes suggested at the meeting on December 4th.
Mhm.
There we go.
does that meet with the seconder's
will the seconder
approval?
accept that?
Yes,
You better, you're the one who asked for the change.
resecond.
Okay, so now we've got a motion to
Second.
approve.
Oh,
Procedural
as long as
guidelines.
we're doing whole URL, should
Oh,
we
boy.
have the whole URL for the Harlem Township website? Which is the bold on the first page?
Oh, yeah, right here. Do you see that one?
Mm-hmm.
All up.
Oh, I see it now.
There's
Mine
another
as
one,
well.
okay.
I see it.
So I'll amend my amendment.
And I will. second this.
Third, your second.
Are you catching that, PG, as well?
Yeah, and if I'm not catching it, luckily the recording is.
Yeah.
So
Talking about 2 URLs that need to be.
mhm. I'm fixing them right now.
Yeah.
So there, yeah. 2 button clicks, they're not too bad.
Call the vote.
That's
You're not
referred to in the
comfortable.
motion as the
Getting
formatting.
paid, I'm not so good.
As far as the formatting changes.
Call for the vote before I put anything else.
Please.
Move on.
All right, so. The motion is to approve procedural guidelines for zoning amendments. As including the formatting changes. Discussed. And approved. On 12/4.
And here we think we'll be starting the year with fresh documents and everything will go smoothly, and watch, we will have done something horribly wrong and.
And we'll discover an error.
Yes, immediately when every application comes in completely illegible.
All right, with that, any further discussion on this motion? All right, hearing none, then, all in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed, no. Okay, the procedural guidelines are approved for implementation in 2024. And
What about the
once you've
checklist?
made those changes, you can give us all new copies, but we could actually wait till June.
Yes, in January, could we potentially get a packet of all the up-to-date documents and like the fee schedule and everything as like a here's our fresh stuff for the year kind of thing? Is that?
I can do that where,
I keep them in my binder to reference
Right.
when we're doing things, and I oftentimes have old copies, and then I'm like, well, wait a second, I thought we changed that.
yeah, so you want like refreshed forms, just a
Yes,
fresh,
all
clean copy of
yeah,
forms.
any forms that we have available on our website, I would like clean copies
A
of those.
complete set
Yes, a complete
Yeah.
set.
of all the forms that are on
and
the website, which will
procedures.
now, this will now be there.
Yes.
But it won't, you won't need to put this up until January.
Yes,
Yeah.
and like a fresh application, a fresh checklist, everything.
Yes, I can get you, I'll probably do it the same time as I update all of your other binders as well.
Perfect. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we're gonna be a fun Staples order that day.
Mhm.
All right, so now we've finished with the procedural guidelines. How about the application for a Merritt Township zoning
Can we
map?
do is the checklist? Since that was.
Well, we
the
had-
second.
we- We had went through this one, so I thought we
Okay.
could maybe approve it.
Okay,
The only changes that I made notation about is that we're gonna add the dollar sign before 825, the dollar sign before 4125, and then we're going to put, since we put procedural guidelines on this one, we'll put HTZ, or we don't even have to do that. We can just put application 1223 at the bottom. Because we got HTC, oh no, we got HTCC, so we say HTCC application 1223.
Application or just app?
We could abbreviate it, just say app, if that's fine with everybody, doesn't matter to me.
In the 825, before adding a dollar sign, can we also add 0.0?
Mhm.
That way on the other.
What, as long as we're consistent in the formatting, either go on in the left-hand margin or the right-hand margin.
Well, we just approved the procedural guidelines with them
It's
on the left, so let's keep them on the left.
That's right.
And the only other note I have from the meeting last month was a question about the spacing on page 2. Whether we were gonna, and I just put spacing question mark, whether we're gonna use the same margins on both pages so that the actual space on page 2 for
That-
writing is bigger.
Should be printing with wide margins. If it's,
Are you talking about, Tom, like how the lines are condensed in the middle? Like if we can expand them, be longer, is that? what you're saying?
So here,
No, I think he's thinking.
You're talking about the front
this
page.
margin and this margin are bigger than this margin and this.
Are
margin.
they?
Yeah,
Or-
yeah.
I got them the opposite way. The first page margins are shorter
That's what
than
I'm
the
saying.
second page margin.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's what he's
Oh,
saying
okay,
is,
okay.
how can we make the margins smaller on the second page so there's more writing space in the lines?
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Can
easily.
you make the lines longer?
On number 3, can we make those lines the same length as the others? Is that too finesse?
On which,
These, number 3, they got cut short.
They're a little short.
that should not be like that. That is, that is a weird formatting glitch that should not be there. Because they should, it's all part of the same line.
Yeah, I'm not faulting you, I
And,
understand.
and
too.
anything you can do to make the applicant's signature longer. Half of the people can't fit them. They just scribble over all of them, and half of them have this squishy little thing that only takes about an inch.
Well, if you had to sign 100 sets of minutes, you would have a squinchy little signature too.
I just did sign
So
it.
a very quick M or J.
Yes, mine doesn't really resemble my name anymore.
And so we have the dollar signs, we have a name for the document on the bottom of the second page. On the first page, we have page 1. The second page, we don't have page 2. Just say,
You might not even need that second page in some cases. You know. For adjoining property owners might be it.
yeah, within page 2. Thank you, relevant.
You-
I'm. I didn't.
We reference the township website several times, but we don't have a hyperlink. I'm assuming they know where it is because that's where this form is posted. Are we okay with leaving?
Go this one up here.
Yeah, well, and we talk about the website here. There's no hyperlink, but again, you have to go to the website to get this form unless you're gonna come talk to Mike. So I'm assuming you know, but
Well, it just doesn't have the complete URL there at the top. It's,
and is everyone okay with that? Is what I'm checking.
an official form probably should have the whole thing.
I mean, if we're
Yeah,
changing it,
since we put it on
While
the
we're here.
procedures.
Well, it's,
So can we
if you
change
make the
that?
hyperlink on the form, then you have to be the hyperlink that would take you to the form. You don't want the hyperlink there to take you back to the township.
I don't think it needs to be a
Change.
hyperlink, but just type it
Yeah, it
out.
just needs to be the full URL, not even a
www.
hyperlink.
Yeah. But on this form, I don't know that you want to link there.
No.
Okay, so just the
No,
URL then.
no,
And
Mhm.
and that'll be on
I don't,
both headings.
on this form, because they have to get to the, once they get to the form,
Yeah.
you don't want them to go back. Words.
You put them in a never ending circle,
Yeah, right, exactly.
and then you'll thank you butter and.
All right.
they deal with it.
So we're going to add page 2.
Add page 2 to the worksheet or
And
delete
then you
page
have to
1.
have the name of the form again.
We don't have page 1 on the procedural guidelines.
I would take page 1 off.
Yeah,
I would do.
All right,
Get rid of it.
page 1's deleted.
Just take page 1 off.
Yeah.
Yep,
That's
page 1
fine.
deleted.
No page 2. HTZC app 12.
We're doing app,
12.23.
not application.
So we're adding that as the label at the bottom or the name of the form.
Yes,
Yes.
And then the dollar signs.
Mhm.
The other thing is trying to adjust the margins so that the left and right margins on the page are lessened to provide more space in the lines with name and the information it provided. Those are the changes.
yes.
Now, can we go ahead and approve it with the understanding that those changes will be made?
I'm good with that.
I make a motion to approve the application for amendment with changes noted during the meeting on December 4th.
All right, moved by Joni, second,
Second.
Brittany, thank you. Further discussion? All right, all those in favor then signify by saying aye.
All right,
Aye, opposed, no. All right, form is approved and we'll see the final version in January along with the procedural guidelines. Okay, that leaves us with the checklist. We didn't make any.
Well, while we're at it now, I propose that we put HTZC checklist 1223 on the left hand
At the, yeah,
side.
that we do need. Gotcha. HTCC
checklist.
checklist. And that's the only change.
As far as I see, yes. DG, do you have that checklist or am I still like the sole owner of that? It was sent out and it's just a Google Doc and should be able to easily be,
Yeah, I can make a copy from yours
okay,
and do it that way.
okay.
And I can make it match
I do-
everything.
And so I put it in the zoning system so that if I'm
Yep.
not here.
I do want to call out when I clicked on the link today, it showed all the numbers as 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So just double check.
Oh, weird.
That it doesn't, it's wrong.
How interesting.
I know. I
Now
thought that
we're all
was odd.
paranoid. Now I'm paranoid. Okay, checking. Oh, no, it says 1 through 5.
Okay, good. Then maybe it was just like an old link or something. I don't know.
Hmm.
All right, we're
Okay,
good.
so the only change on checklist form is to put HTZC checklist 12/23 bottom left-hand side, left-hand margin. Correct?
That's good.
Mhm.
Yep.
All right, are we ready to move this one?
I make a motion, we approve the checklist for completion of application for zoning amendments. December 2023 with the conditions mentioned during our meeting on December 4th.
All right, in a second,
Second.
seconded by Virginia, thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye, opposed no. Your motion's approved. Okay, so we've got these finally. Good job, Virginia, thank you very much.
Yes, hopefully everything goes smoothly. when we use-
Thank you
Yes.
for all the work that you've done on these documents, but especially on the application.
Application.
Yes, I'm excited for that to be online. That'll be nice.
Absolutely, yes,
Yes.
okay. Back to this. Under old business, I listed the items that Scott had sent to us. Were we able to run those on? Good.
Yes.
This is the packet. I don't expect us to really do anything with these tonight. I just wanted everybody to have them.
In time for
Next week.
Thank you.
And I had told Scott that everybody would have a clean copy. So that when we meet next week, we'll be looking at these. I don't think we're going to be making any changes, but the one that we've not spent the time with would be the planned residential conservation district as it's being changed. We talked about making the change, but I don't know that we've really.
The red line version of this. Go back.
The only change is the deletion of, there is a red line version, I remember seeing it, everything is being deleted regarding the procedures.
Yeah, and it was put someplace else.
And so. When it comes to the procedures, then he's making this version.
Where did the procedures go?
There a new Article 23, I think.
Yeah,
Wasn't that it?
they're,
Thought Article 23 was for the PRD.
say that. I don't know where it is. But we'll find out.
Yeah. Yes, it's all clipped together as Article 11, but the second half of it, new article, procedure for rezoning to a planned district.
Yeah, and this specifically references ORC 19021 A.
Mhm.
And the PRCD is under 519-021C. And I'll just lead us into it that they're different. You gotta keep them separate. Don't leave them the same. So I don't think we can use the procedures for Article 23 or what will become Article 23 as the procedures for the PRCD.
I guess the question is, with the PRCD, are we going to use the same procedures for the PRCD that as are being used for the overlay? Or do we need to?
That may be the way we go, because I think the difference between the PRCD And the CRCD as far as procedure should be the same. The actual development standards may differ, septic, sewer, setbacks, open space, but the procedures to work through, whether it's a PRCD or a CRCD, I would think would be the same.
Yeah, well, such application shall be made
You're
in
on-
with the regulations according to this article and Article 32.
Which would be the.
The overlay
procedure,
procedures.
yes.
So this one we have not really addressed, so to speak. We haven't dealt with the specifics of it. The way we have with the other three.
Yeah, and I think maybe what I'll do is I will just run this past Holly. I'll say, given the PRCD she's familiar with, and Article 32, are we okay using those procedures for both PRCD and the CRCD? As simple as I can put that.
Yeah.
And
So-
and they're both of those would be under the same section of the
And
ORC.
this one, we may need to spend more time with Scott on. The PRCD is the one I'm referring to when I say this one.
Yeah.
And the other three, they should be basically a final version. Because of previous sessions that we've had on them. And that's why they are clean copies. Except the development standards 2116 and 2117, we put it in red because yeah, it's all new. These are new sections. We're moving it into here. And then in the future, we'll be making reference to these for the limited home occupation. We will simply reference that as section 21.17 in the future. Right now, the limited home occupation is described in each of the articles.
Right.
Remember, we had some brief discussion about that wasn't a conflict to leave it that way, even if we go forward and we adopt this, because we were anticipating that would be what we would do. We would adopt the low density, the Article 11, and the limited home occupation. Or these additions to the development standard.
Now, did we talk about when we did the limited home occupation to create another section for the expanded home occupation?
No, we never decided what we were doing about that one.
And are those different from article to article? Or maybe they would be.
I don't know, we'd have to back and look.
I think they are different from article to article.
Yeah, that might be why he didn't. Find this.
Yeah,
Um,
because there are some things that just make more sense if you have a larger area than if you're a 2-acre lot.
There, if we want to delay doing anything with the limited home occupation in terms of making it a part of development standards, we can do that. And wait, we can also have language for the expanded home occupation if we want that to be in the development standards as well. But I don't think that Scott has, in terms of a discussion, we didn't have that discussion with him about that. We don't have a recommendation from him on that.
No, but I did think we looked at them and just kind of noticed that they're different. In the different, yeah,
As you went from one article to
Yeah.
another.
like the limited ones were just about all the same, but the regular home occupation stuff was
General
different.
development standards. Other standards.
Okay, well, you've got these now and we will discuss them next week.
And Scott will be here next.
Yeah, Scott will be here.
Gotta find someplace to live. It's cold out.
Yeah. Living in here.
Well, we should put page numbers on these, because now I've got myself. Like, trying to figure out page.
Which article?
So.
Which article?
2301. A, B,
If we're gonna be.
and then it jumps. I don't get that. A, B. F,
I think we should
Why-
try.
why is- gotta be something wrong there.
The only thing we have for 23 is, no, it's 21.
A, B,
I
C.
didn't get anything for 23.
Yeah, it's on the back of those pages.
Oh,
No, I expect
okay,
it-
you're right. It's on the back
it's
of the
on the back
PRD.
of-
This page, something's funny about this one. I don't know what the problem is here.
You're right, that was 23, wasn't it?
2303, A, B, C, okay. I don't get what this page is. Does anybody have it? With mine, I look at Article 23,
Yeah, that's that.
and then you look at the back of the
Well,
page.
the other side is part of Article 11.
That's the last.
It's the PRD,
page.
the last page of the
The last
PRD,
page
Article
of the
11.
PRD.
Is that what it is? Well, how come it's? Oh, I got you. Okay, so.
Where's your Article 11?
I gotta find Article 11. That's how I got confused. I took that page and I
Might
got,
put together, cause
there's 11. 1104. Prohibited use.
Okay, then you should get 1105 development standards.
1105.
Okay. And then the next page is that one.
Okay, so we submitted with.
Yeah.
The subdivision plat.
Yeah.
All right, that's how it got mixed up. Okay. Not putting page numbers on them. Get them in the right order, I'm gonna write the page numbers on there. All right. So next week. We'll discuss these and I guess. At this point, potentially we can move forward with Article 9, Article 11. And Article 23.
What about 13?
Well, 13 is the one that if we,
PRD.
I mean, we're going to discuss it, but I don't know
Okay.
whether we're going to be ready to move forward with it.
Okay,
I'll see if I can get some.
Because
Yeah.
what he's done with this one is he has taken the procedures out
right.
and simply made reference then to Article 32. And if we're comfortable with what's here, then yeah, we can move this one forward as well.
One question about Article 9, the R2. A minor question, but I mean, you can see from my highlighting here on the first page. Sometimes it's written out and with the number and written out, sometimes it's not, sometimes the percent is, sometimes the percent is not. Do we want to ask Scott to go back and search those out?
I, 'Cause Which way do you want it? Commissioner?
Word, and then in parentheses numbers, right?
That's the way we.
That's how we've done it on
Mhm.
most.
That's been. That's been the formatting that we've been trying to move toward,
Yes.
and trying to be, because we just did it in the procedural
Yeah.
guidelines. All right. Word and then number, so that basically would be something we'd simply point out to Scott and he can make that change. That should be a simple thing in terms of,
Looking for a number.
yeah. Search and fix. Okay. That's the only thing, oh.
I mean, yeah,
For now.
no, that's, I went through this.
All right.
Today.
Okay, and then we'll see what we can do with 13. Maybe things we can move forward quickly with 13 as well.
Got a week to read over 'em.
We talked about the workshop meeting. But we're not gonna make a decision about whether we want to schedule the 22nd until next week. No one. But keep in mind, we were talking about the 22nd, so keep that
Mhm.
date open until after next week. All right, I have nothing further,
Yay.
so.
Miss adjournment?
Oh,
Should I make a motion?
everybody's looking at you when you said that.
Oh, should I make a motion to adjourn? Make a
I think we're
motion
ready.
to adjourn.
I'll second.
And it's seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we're adjourned at 9:23.
Look at that,
Oh,
early.
God, early.
For our regular meeting, it's early.
A regular meeting with a hearing. Yeah.
The hearing, yes,
Always an easy.
Sorry, but it's Joe.
I like it.
Is, don't forget to bring the kids to see Santa Claus.
We will see. When we tried to see Santa Claus last week, we did Snowflake Castle in Westerville.
Disaster.
We don't usually have really long
Wow.
lines.
Well, so Snowflake Castle is like a ticketed thing. You get a time slot. And you
Oh,
go and you like make a wooden toy. I think they hired like the volleyball team to be their elves. They should have gone
Okay.
with the Rotary Club or something. I thought we were gonna see this girl bleed. She asked Alba if she had ever used a drill before and then like held this piece of wood like this with Alba and the drill like this.
Oh, my God.
Please don't do that.
Are you seeking reappointment next year?
Yeah, am I?
Because you're up.
I'm up. Uh-oh.
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 yeah, she is.
Yeah, I guess you're stuck with me for a while.
Alright,
Okay.
and is the alternate still the alternate?
No.
No,
We have-
okay,
no, we
It's
have-
still open.
no alternate, okay.
You know someone?
Take as many.
I don't know
photos
anybody.
With Santa Claus, we're not having some photographer.
Yeah.
join